Hello, and welcome to my video. Today I am painting the altars from Black Rose Wars by Ludus Magnus Studio. If you enjoy this type of content, be sure to like the video and subscribe. If you have any questions about painting, or board games, or early 2000s pop punk, leave me a comment on the video or drop by my Instagram at Memoriesofwe. I greatly appreciate you hanging out, so let's get started. Alright, so we're getting started right away. All I did was a white prime on these guys because I wasn't 100% sure how I was going to paint them up. But we're starting here with some Mechanicus standard gray, and that is going to be a big base coat. I'm breaking this up into two sections. The first section I'm working on the good altars, in other words the ones with the angel statues on them. And then after we finish up these, I'll show the differences on how I did the evil altars, the ones with the wood and the red hood on it. So you can see what I base coated in Mechanicus Standard Gray. Here I mixed in Wolf Gray with that Mechanicus Standard Gray to get a lighter version, and we're doing it to recreate stone here. I would have really liked to do like a marble technique on this or something like that, but I feel like they're so small and they kind of don't get used a ton in the game, so I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time on them. Instead, I decided to just highlight with to make it just look like a stone altar here. So here's more Wolf Gray going into that Mechanicus, and we're picking out smaller and smaller areas. And here I'm going to start edge highlighting down in the base area. I'm also working on the stones of the base. So on the base of every single model that comes in this game, all the bases are the same. They are cobblestone with roses all throughout them. So the main thing that you're going to do is just edge highlight with this lighter and lighter and lighter gray until you get it to look the way you want it to. So you can see this is pure Wolf Gray. This is a very light gray. Without a white next to it, it looks white, but when you have an actual white next to it, you can see that it's got definitely a couple shades before it becomes white. So any very light gray you can use to accent all the edges of the little engravings in the middle and the bottom and sides of the altar itself. Alright, here are the 5 separate colors that I'm going to use to do 5 different metal looking altars. So you can use whatever color you want, but I'm using a mixture of silver, gold, bronze, and here I'm just going to show you a couple different ones that I'm doing. I'll switch through them. So this is the gold one, just starting with a generous covering of gold. And then I'm washing it with a brown wash. If you're using silver, you might want to wash with a black wash instead of a brown one. Copper, you might want to wash with a red wash. And then all of them I did the same on this step. I dry brushed really lightly with a lighter silver color. So this works as a very simple and easy true metallic metal highlight. Very simple. Don't spend a ton of time on this because again, it's not something you use a lot in the game. Now this I was experimenting with. I'm using fluorescent green to paint the orb. The fluorescent colors from Vallejo are not very opaque. They take about 45 coats for you to even be able to see it. I think you're supposed to paint them green and then paint that on top of it. So as you can see there, I finally got it to look glowing green, but that did take, no exaggeration, about 6 or 7 coats of fluorescent green to even get it to that layer. And you can see on the top there, it's still there's still like white showing through. So it will take you a while. Here's flat brown, using that on the base for all of the vines. And then I'm coming in with flat green, and I'm hitting all of those vines with that flat green to give them some depth and definitely make them look like rose vines. If you've ever seen rose vines, they're definitely a mixture of green and brown. And now I added a little bit of white to the green, and I'm coming back through and highlighting all of those vines. And I'm doing this on all of the models at the same time. So you can see here I'm actually working on one of the cursed altars, and I haven't painted the cursed altar yet. So I basically painted the complete altars with the metallic statues, then worked on the bases, then came and painted the altars of the cursed statues, or the cursed statue altars. This is Scarlet red. I'm painting all of the roses a scarlet red. And then we're coming back with flat red to highlight all of those roses. Now we're getting to work on the altars, or the cursed altars. And I wanted it's kind of like a hooded robe that's draped over the altar. It's not very clear what is actually going on in this picture, but I figured that a deep red robe would be the best way to do that. So I started with flat red, and then I came back and mixed a little bit of flat flesh in with the red and highlighted the red that way. Again, I'm not spending a ton of time on these, but I do want them to look nice. Now this is brown, or actually no, it's black leather. Black leather from Scale 75. Any really dark brown color would be great for the wood, but I'm using the Scale 75 paints from their wood and leather set. So after that I took birch, which is a very light white color, and started mixing that birch into that dark leather to get a medium tone. And then I use straight birch to highlight the wood all once I'm finished. So this is yellow ochre, and it's a muddy yellow brown color. It's not very pretty, but it works great for mushrooms. And I also base coated the skull, the cow skull that's in the front with it as well. Now the difference is that I'm going to use some khaki. Well, first I'm going to wash it with Agrax Earthshade, and then the mushrooms, I just kind of tip them with a little bit of the khaki just to give a little tiny highlight, but I wanted to actually paint the skull like a skull, so I used khaki with some ivory and painted up the skull. With that, all you got to do is throw some black around the rim of the base, and you're pretty much complete with all the altars. Pretty quick, doesn't take too long to get done. I greatly appreciate you watching the video, and definitely leave a comment down below. This is one of my favorite games that I've gotten from Kickstarter. Let me know how you're liking Black Rose Wars and what model you'd like to see painted next. Till next time, see you later. Hey, thanks for watching my videos. I greatly appreciate it. If you want to see more, make sure you subscribe so that you'll be alerted every time I release a new one. If you want to see two that have already been produced and were hand-picked by these two crazy kids, then you can click on the links here on the screen now. Otherwise, thank you so much for sticking around, and I'll see you all next time.